The difference between us is that I can feel pain.
Sounds like a real boogeyman. 1, 2, Freddy's coming for you.
Not to mention the fact that you're talking to a dead guy.
There's someone else in the hotel with us. There's a crazy woman in one of the rooms.
It's got a death curse.
This isn't science. It's more like black magic.
Your specimen has been processed, and we are now ready to begin the test proper.
Hello, my Night Owl friends, and welcome to an extremely special edition of Pumpkin Hill Radio.
Season 4.
It's season 4. We've declared it.
Every season it gets bigger, better, badder.
And today's no different. If you're joining us on YouTube, you'll see that we are on full video. What's up? If you're not there, go ahead and check that out. Even if you're on Spotify, just jump over quick. You're going to want to see what we've done. And this is going to get better and better. But I mean,
we're in the pyramids. We're just in the pyramids. Hieroglyphs. Infinity Tunnel. All right, yeah.
We're excited because we haven't recorded together in 3 weeks. Dawson's been...
I just got back from Greece yesterday.
MIA.
A little jet lag, but I'm rolling with it.
In that time, we've had a lot of growth. You know, we did pretty good without you.
Yeah, made it happen.
No, between 4 Patreon subscribers, paid Patreon. We have other free members. Thanks for joining us on the free side.
Shouts out
Patreon.com/PumpkinHillRadio. We got 4 of you now. And before we talk about this, I guess I should say, this is Pumpkin Hill Radio. I am your host, Travis Wyrmwood.
Yeah, baby.
Got my co-host, Dawson Trailer here.
Yeah,
Every week we talk about paranormal stuff, high strangeness of the highest caliber. We get into the weirdest weird. And we try to bring you some information that you might not know yet. Huge alien updates
Hot
this episode
takes.
as far as other stuff. There was a
the hearing.
There was a huge
congressional
alien
hearing.
Yes, yeah. Whenever that kind of stuff happens, I want to cover it. On the video side of things, you're going to see a lot of cool stuff happening in the middle of the screen because we have all that loaded up. On the audio side, you're going to hear it, and it'll be just fine. So yeah, thanks again.
Dude.
This is going to be kind of all over because we're going to probably get into Dawson's trip and then also all this.
Yeah, I mean, I'll give like a brief synopsis. I mean,
Yeah.
it was a long time I was there, but
So-
man, it was nice.
So yeah, we don't need to just like go over your vacation the whole time, but we will. I want to talk. You know, you were in an ancient place, so I want to get into that.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. Oh yeah, and the last place I stayed was fucking...
So yeah,
it was definitely haunted.
Dawson
it was
has
weird.
Been into some ancient
It was
haunted
such
buildings.
a weird... Because it's like Airbnb there, but it was like... It wasn't through Airbnb. It was like just a different like booking thing. I don't know, but I like got this room and it looked like just like a normal little like one room, bathroom, shower, whatever. I'm like, cool, that sounds good. It was like super cheap. And I get there and it was literally just like a bar. It was like a long ass bar.
Yeah,
it was like... like the size of the
and it
Cabo
was
bar?
emptied out, and there was just a bed at one side.
Yeah, there was this one bed,
Yeah.
and and then there was just an empty bar that like had nothing in it. Like, there's one light that was dangling from the ceiling. I didn't know how to turn it off, and then one bed like lamp by the bed. Super freaky because there's like pillars. So like at night it was like dark and these shadows. Oh,
The videos you sent, it seemed like somebody was standing behind them.
Oh yeah,
before
absolutely.
we get into that, we need to talk about the Patreon a little more because it's been seeing so much growth lately. Every month we put on a bonus episode there. It doesn't go out anywhere else. You also get a bonus sticker sent to you. To the 4 people that have subscribed so far, what's up? I will get that out to you immediately. I want to say a special thank you to Megan. She was the first paid subscriber. KRNT57, Jack Provisky, and Max Jaseski. Thank you to all of y'all. It means a ton. I mean, honestly, this is crazy to have anybody sending any money to us just for doing this.
Just for anything.
Because honestly, this has been a lot of work. It's been over a year in the making now.
Yeah,
I mean, it's so cool that we're finally getting to audio and to video and all this. And I hope that helps the growth rate too.
It's nice, man.
It's a lot of movement. Season 4 is going to be huge. The new year is going to be huge. The closing out this year is going to be crazy.
A lot going on.
Yeah, a lot going on the paranormal side of stuff, and I want to bring you the best coverage of that. So on the Patreon side, look for some bonus videos. We'll try to send some extra content your way, and just know that we love you, and even I love you. Usually Dawson's the one that says I love you. To the Patreon subscribers, I love you.
Yeah, dude.
And now that is only open for the first 10 subscribers. It's a $1 payment for the first 10 Patreon subscribers to get into the Star Mother Occultist tier. After that 10 is filled up, I'm going to create another tier with all the same benefits for $5. That's kind of our model right now. That'll
get
just
in
be
while
open.
you can.
Yeah, so just get in while you can. That $1 tier is going to look real nice once it's 5, okay?
Yeah.
And it's filling up fast. It's been less than a month and we already got 4 or 10 spots. So jump in there, patreon.com/pumpkintheradio. Hate to ring it out to death, but it's been seeing a lot of growth, and I just want to shout at people there.
Yeah, dude.
As you know, if you subscribe at any paid amount, you do get to become the ghost host for the episode.
Yeah,
so we have for the next 4 episodes, people will be loaded in. This week we have Megan. So Megan, imagine yourself sitting right over there next to Don. There's another chair right there.
Actually, you're like right here.
Oh, you're like right
Let's get you in between us.
Oh,
that's a special spot.
Hey, Meg.
Hey, Megan.
Nice. All right, sweet.
Sweet. We'll get that in post.
Yeah, we'll put you in post. And yeah, send your address to me if you haven't yet through email, so I can send that sticker to you. Unless we see each other in person ever, then I'll give it to you there. Whatever.
Yeah.
Oh boy, welcome to the Cult of the Star Mother.
Yeah, baby.
If you are listening, just by listening, you are signing an audio contract, and you are now part of the cult. Join further tiers by joining the Patreon. Tell all your friends about us. It really
helps.
Climb
the ranks.
That's how we've met people so far, and then rate us 5 stars wherever you can, because that really helps. Again, every week we dig into that esoteric stuff, so you're gonna love that.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Boy.
So what we got?
I did want to say really quick that I kind of stopped doing the chapters and description thing. It was just too much work, and I didn't hear any feedback on it, so I just don't know. If you want that, let me know. It created like 10 more minutes of stuff, and I already have 25 hours of stuff on a 24-hour day.
Yeah, why don't you hit that $1 tier and let us know,
please.
If you need us to keep doing that. Otherwise, like nah. Otherwise, just watch the episode.
Doss, I want to start the episode off real hot. So let's save some of your great stuff for just in the middle. Yeah,
dude, we can also just do a recap some other time. I don't need to talk about it much.
I'm going to play a video.
Let's get into it.
/ audio of a little bit of the congressional hearing from November 13th on UAP and all that.
Yeah,
I just
got what stood out to you, because there's a lot of things that stood out to me.
So I just wanted some real bangers and clips. You know what I mean? They're like 1 minute little things that are just hot off the press. So I'm going to play that, and we can just listen in, and then we can talk about this stuff because it is going on.
Yeah. Popping off.
Working with members of Congress to see that this legislation and other UAP legislation crosses the finish line. I'm deeply alarmed by the reporting of the massive drone swarm that flew over Langley Air Force Base in Virginia last December. Langley is the home of the 1st Fighter Wing, which maintains half of the F-22s in the U.S. Air Force inventory. Reports of this incident indicate these drones were roughly 20 feet long, flying more than 100 miles an hour at an altitude of over 3,000 feet. Yet the origin of these drones and their operators remains a mystery. This incident and other sightings near sensitive military installations highlights the complexity of the UAP challenge facing our intelligence, defense, and homeland security committees. Whether these phenomena are the result of foreign adversaries developing advanced technologies or something else entirely, we must take them seriously, investigate them thoroughly, and assess their implications on national defense. The repeated UAP sightings around sensitive military sites underscores the need for innovative defensive strategies beyond traditional measures.
He goes on. Obviously, it's a 2-hour thing.
Yeah.
Just hearing anybody in Congress talk about UAPs at all, it still blows my mind. It's so great that it's happening right now. I think and I'm talking to some people that are still skeptical on the alien thing, and that's fine. You can be. But I will say,
I'm skeptical enough about all of it, what the real intentions are.
I will say
what's really going on.
A lot of these UAP congressional hearings right now are about setting up systems so we can better, so people in power and people just flying around, even just everyday aircraft have ways to report what they see.
Disclosure, watch these. They're like we need to get tools in place, not just at military bases and where top secret things are, to see what's actually happening.
Because a lot of it is
which is cool. I'm fully support of that.
Mm-hmm. You can just see some of it. People still think some of it's hearsay because it's just it's hard because you don't have these stamped and signed fucking sealed documents.
There's people that aren't going to believe it's real until there's some sort of alien.
And that's
that is there, and even then people are gonna be no.
Yeah. And that's what we're slowly moving to.
That's just where we're at this point in with AI video thing. Everything can get faked so easily, and I'm like kind of like I have part of that in me too, where I'm like, they could like show me like an alien on the White House
like,
lawn,
well, the
and
minute-
I'd be like, well, they're faking
The
this.
minute they do
they're
that, it's
trying to
fake,
fool
yeah.
me. It'd have to be like really undeniable.
Yeah.
But
It's-
also, I don't know. I'm also
it's-
just like a paranoid
Yeah.
psycho sometimes.
And this is also just about trying to get the Pentagon to release more information. So the Congress is basically in contention
So
with
much
the Pentagon, trying to get information. The Pentagon has failed the last 6 of its audits and actually never like done okay on one. It's always basically failed them. The things they're not letting out enough information, and they're not even they're not sharing it with other government agencies. And so that's
not
why
even
Congress
like the
is
president,
finally
like
getting
nobody.
involved. Yeah, there's basically these black sites, black corporations that are
because
off
it's
the
like
books, off the records, that are working in the shadows.
and it's using like taxpayer dollars. So like that's like the big part too is like how much of like American taxpayer money is going to this shit.
Yeah,
and why aren't we like allowed to know? What the fuck? Which
That's-
I'm like, that's like where I'm at too. I'm
that's
like,
a lot
dude,
of
yo, what?
Let me play something else here, and then after that, I have one more like little audio clip,
let's
just
get
a
into
short one, and then I have some. After that, we can talk about specific UAP that have been recorded and their movement patterns and things like that. All right, this is just from a Congresswoman who. Let's just hear what she has to say.
To enter into the congressional record this 12-page document that Michael Schellenberger brought today that describes the Immaculate Constellation government program. So we will do that now. Every member up here has a copy of it. The first section talks about the unacknowledged special access program called Immaculate Constellation, and the second section about USG imagery intelligence. And Representative Luna just told me if I say Immaculate Constellation, I'll be on some list. Maybe a FISA warrant, so come at me, bro, I guess. But
there's another one where she says that too. She's
without
like, I'll just get on all
objection,
of them.
entered in the
It's like,
record.
Earth's flat.
So yeah,
Earth's flat. Birds are fake. I'm like, oh shit, dude, saying that in like Congress.
Yeah,
that got me fired up because I'm like, I'm not a flat earther, but like anytime someone starts talking about it, and like especially like in like that kind of a setting, I'm like, damn, she's flying. She's letting it fly.
To the highest level.
Fuck it, dude.
And it's like.
Like obviously it was like a little tongue in cheek, but I was like, "Yo,
Dude,
what are you talking
fucking
about?"
Stuff like Immaculate Constellation. These words that are basically like these are keywords that.
Oh my god!
Honestly, if you think that these were
Code
just
words,
created, these have been running since the 50s and 60s with Blue Book and paper.
This isn't new shit. Well, the one guy too, he's like, "Yeah, there's things that have been like retrieved before I was born."
Yeah. From 1945 was start of most of these operations, if not earlier, but it's been ongoing since then. Like literally since.
Well, there's like archaeological finds too. There's like things like, I've like heard people talk about how they're like gifts. You know, they're not like crash sites. They're like here's a little thing.
Here's something that's passing off.
Here's something. Try to like back engineer it. Yeah,
that we've fucking been talking about. It's their end of the deal. They're dropping off stuff because they've been able to harvest humans and do experiments, basically.
Yeah.
And
Here's like a little
technology. Dude, I have been, like, because it's so undeniably real, basically, at this point.
Yeah.
I know it's real, and I always consider aliens to be real and stuff, but, like, we're at this point where they are real, and
it's a real thing happening.
I'm really just, like, jealous of the tech. Like, I'm, like, being 1,000 miles away from like my hometown and stuff, I'm like, you know how nice it would be.
No, that's like a big part of it too, man.
In an orb and fly there in 3 seconds.
Like the technology that's like classified is like stuff that could, if it was massively distributed to like the population and the taxpayers, things that like we pay money to like get research on, like if that was really like just given to us, like as it should. Like, dude, like energy, free energy shit.
Well, that's what
travel is
we've
different.
Been getting
like
that. That's why we have like internet and like Wi-Fi now and stuff. Like,
but it's still like it's like bottleneck.
We're bottlenecking it.
Well, because there's so much industry that would like lose so much
to repurpose. It
would be like a major. It would be uncomfortable.
Now we're
for like even us. Like we'd like the economy would be like flipped upside down.
Mm-hmm.
Like it'd probably just be non-existent. We probably wouldn't need an economy.
Well, that's what it is. You have to
like money would not exist.
These technologies because you basically erase corporations because you create free energy, you create instantaneous travel, you create basically
independence, like self-reliance. Like people would be free to fucking. You wouldn't have to pay like your energy bill. You wouldn't have to pay for gas.
Yeah. So obviously they can't give us this stuff,
Like-
or they don't have any control.
And then like that,
Right.
like borders wouldn't even make sense because you'd just be able to go anywhere you want so quickly.
Yeah.
And it's like, and whatever. I don't know.
I don't
Also, I don't know.
So
Who knows if like people can even be in those things?
I have a few pictures of UFO, like videos of UFO.
Yeah,
We can
yeah.
there's not any words over it, so we can talk about it as they're going.
Yeah,
Or describe them.
Fuck yeah.
First, I'm going to show is a leaked video from a black site in 2018. It got really popular on the internet at the beginning of the year,
Mhm.
and I just want to visit it because it checks all our boxes here at Pumpkin Hill Radio. It's jellyfish shaped.
Yeah.
It is. It looks like it belongs
'cause
in an upper atmospheric.
What were they?
ecosystem.
They have like so many different descriptions in the hearing too. There's like biologics is what they're talking about. They're like, are these things living? And they're like, well, our definition of life is
It
always
might not.
changing.
Yeah,
and I'm
it's
like, all right,
just-
I like to hear this shit. Like, fuck
Digging
yeah.
into plasmic beings like immediately. All right, let's play
I do
this
get
and we can
frustrated with
talk
like
over
how
it.
like bureaucratic it all is, and like how these people like you can tell they want to talk about stuff, but they just can't.
Yeah, well, that lady, like she said, she's being told while she's going to the hearing
Yeah.
that if she talks about it, she's going to get on a list. And that list isn't like your car gets towed. That list is like your family gets annihilated. That's what the
Yeah.
list-
Like
it's
you're
a very intense list.
gonna
like-
disappear, maybe.
Like
like
yeah,
you're getting monitored. Like
if you-
there's SUVs, black SUVs everywhere.
It's funny. We did the whole Alien Madness UFO 2-parter episode over Halloween. And it's just never gonna stop now, I guess. The rest of the pod. I did a bunch of like cryptid research and like cool Thanksgiving time paranormal stuff, and I was like, I don't know if I have any time for that this year.
Yeah, there's
I don't
shit
have any time.
happening
There's
right
just-
now.
Yeah, there's shit flying.
The
out of
hot
the oceans.
topics right now.
So here's the jellyfish for the video.
Yeah, let's get into
go
it. This
check-
one's bizarre, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what we're
Okay.
seeing here is it's a jellyfish looking thing floating maybe like 75 to 100 feet over a
Yeah.
military base. This military base is in Iraq or Afghanistan. It's over in the east.
So like,
This thing, it looks, you can see it. That's only on thermal. That thing is invisible to the naked eye.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
This thing right here, you wouldn't
That's why
actually
I
be able
like-
to see it. So they only can capture it at a high intelligence military base, a black site. It goes over the entire highly secured military base.
yeah.
Okay, in the middle of a foreign country, so you know how intense their
And
security
like,
measures
it's like
are.
a hot spot.
Yeah.
It's what, in Iraq?
Yes.
Like what?
Mm-hmm.
So they're like, wait.
So this thing, this
And
is
to
a
me, dude, when I see that, okay, so it's hard to see like any details, but the detail you can see, my mind just goes to like biblically accurate angels, where I'm like, okay, and then also
it's
what
over in the east, it's right there. Like
those
it's
like
literally where
things
the
in
Bible
like
is written.
yeah, that shit in like Skyrim, those like tentacle monsters that float around.
Mhm.
It like it reminds me of that.
It
reminds me of like
I
some
would say it's-
Lovecraftian fucking thing.
I've been showing people this video all week. It
It
is disturbing. Like the first time I saw it, I was like, I can't sleep. Like that thing, it's
Those things are
invisible.
around. You can't
yeah,
see
that
them.
means that they're just everywhere. Like you like they're just only being able to record it here because it's at a military. Like
Yeah,
it's
those
going
people
over
don't see.
like soldiers right there.
Yeah,
It literally just went over it. So it goes over the whole base. This is a shortened video. There is
yeah.
the leaks say that there is an extended video of this.
No, there's more of these too. There's like videos too that they haven't been declassified yet,
Mhm.
and they just keep talking about where it's like 4K HD, like clear color pics.
like
Like
from
they
the
like
military. These are
you're
released-
seeing things like
released
this shit is
from-
just real.
Yeah, people
That's like-
are going very deep undercover to
Yeah.
even release these things to even have
No,
a
that,
chance
and that's
to,
what the hearings are about too. Is like, can we like let people talk about this without like
being
getting
killed.
yeah, like literally like their lives being ruined.
Yeah, like the guy that released this is going through a bunch of shit right now.
Yeah, well, they were
'cause I
talking
know
about
they
too.
were
There's
able
like
to trace it back.
psychological like tactics they're taking when anyone
Mm-hmm.
comes out on this, where it's like they're just gonna
Play that again.
torment you psychologically. They're basically gonna like MK Ultra you.
Yeah.
Do what Jack Ruby, dude that killed the fucking who did he kill? There's a guy that killed the alleged guy that killed JFK,
Mhm.
Lee Harvey Oswald.
And there's the
And then the guy that killed him, and then he was in prison, and like immediately, like he got visited by some like MK Ultra, the guy that like did MK Ultra, all that shit, like
Yeah.
Charles Manson's handler and shit, and like he like visited him once, and then after that he was like mind was just gone,
just erased
absolutely
from it.
just insane. And it's like, so they're just like basically like dosing these people with like 10 thumbprint doses of acid, like
Yeah.
like
And
enough
they-
acid to like make an entire
And they're
city
doing
go
that
insane.
like with a handshake. Like it's
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
so you just start feeling nuts and you're like, it's over.
And then they're gone. Or like they hit you with a frequency and give you the heart attack, or like give you cancer. Because that was they started off the hearing too. They're like, so and so couldn't be here with his new cancer. New cancer diagnosis. So I'm like,
just got cancer.
Ding, ding, ding. Like my fucking red flags are raising with that. I'm like, okay.
That's like, she's on that chick's on the list to get cancer. Okay. Now. Like,
yeah. We'll see how long it takes till she is in a car accident or gets cancer or just like her plane crashes. Like none of these people better all be on the same plane.
No.
These guys cannot travel together.
We need to keep tabs.
They can't be in the same car. They can't be on the same bridge. Like they have to like not like even just being in a hearing together like that is like, okay.
Megan, what do you think about all this?
Yeah, Megan, what are your thoughts?
I think you should. Megan, I hope you're watching the YouTube to look at this because it is so fucking freaky. It's literally just this guy jellyfish. Okay, so there's extended video of this specific video that has not been leaked. That has only been kept by government officials. It shows this thing. Yeah. It shows this thing going into a nearby lake. And it goes into a lake, does not displace the surface. Yeah. There's no splash. It doesn't. It's you hear about these things moving in and out of water or in and out of anything without displacing anything, without moving the matter around. So it goes into the lake. It stays there for about an hour, and then it comes back out, and then it shoots off into the fucking sky at a 45 degree angle.
It's called like transmedium.
Yeah, transmedium.
So they like can go in and out of things without. Like, they could probably go through walls.
So that's what's fucking...
Like, I imagine they can just go through walls, windows, like, anything.
At least, yeah. I mean,
you know
that's,
what I mean?
Like, really ghost-like. It's at least water, like... Okay,
definitely water, and they can, like, go into space.
So, a lot of the hearing basically was about telling us that these things are submerged. They are the USOs that we've kind of covered before. It's becoming far easier to think, and I think it's both. I think it's interdimensional and always here on Earth, but I think it's so much easier to believe that they're just here and they've always been here, and they're just in the ocean, which is over 70% of the Earth.
They're in this like realm on like either a different frequency. They're either hidden, they're either fucking inside the Earth, under the ocean, like in these caves. I don't fucking know, man.
Yep. There's reports from government officials running like flights over the ocean and seeing massive, very fast moving like light sources way under the water. So you don't see what it is, but it's just it's not a submarine. It's nothing that anybody has.
Yep.
It's just like basically a mothership flying under the water.
Which that shit like confirms then like you've seen, because we've all probably seen the videos of like the strange lights in the ocean. Like there's like people out like fishermen and they're like, what is this glowing shit down here? Or they're like up on like a mountain or in like a plane or like paragliding or something. There's so many it's so many of them. And it's like, oh, what is that? It's like, oh, maybe it's the government. And then the government's like, the military is like, we don't know.
That's not.
And then it's like, okay, so like whatever they're seeing, they're all seeing the same thing.
Best case scenario, it's like Russians that have alien technology.
Yeah,
I guess. Like that. If you're trying to put a human name on it, like,
that's like your best guess, or like China, and it's like, well, it probably isn't.
And it also
it probably just isn't.
A lot of these reports now are coming out showing multiple types of UFOs. So you always hear about the classic saucer or the orb or the tic tac.
The cigar shape.
Now there's formations with all of these. Yeah. In this, like in that drone, in those drones that the guy was talking about, like hundreds of drones
going like over spheres,
going
all
over
this
Langley
shit.
Air Base, our most defensive and protected like military base. They got fucking buzzed by aliens, and
this
they just
pyramid shaped one. Because I know there's like the pyramid footage.
Can't do anything about it.
Over like there's like some like there's like some like giant like destroyer ship or something. You know, like some like. Out in the ocean, like moving military base, basically, like, you know, the naval bases out there, and it was like these just like swarms of these like pyramids.
So I believe Ryan Graves is one of the guys that talked. So the four people that testified at this congressional hearing are Luis Elizondo. He's the most famous one. He's been all over the place. You've all heard of him. He's
like on the Joe Rogan and shit.
He's the former intelligence officer who has been vocal about UAP investigations.
Which he was on Joe Rogan while I was in Greece, so I listened to that one. Yeah. I don't really listen to Joe Rogan much unless it's like the alien guy, the UFO guys. Because I'm like, all right.
We have David Fravor. He's a former Navy pilot who spotted the famous Tic Tac object in 2004. There's Ryan Graves. He's another former Navy pilot who has spoken about encountering UAPs on training missions. So that's what I'm talking about. They were running training missions and they're seeing stuff that they can't explain. These are the videos of the it's the classic video where they see and they're trying to get that UAP in frame and it's like kind of sliding sideways. It kind of looks like a saucer thing. But in all these cases, they're bouncing around in ways that we can't fucking fathom.
Luis Elizondo, he fucking talks about how they're like humans can like withstand like 5 Gs for a certain amount of time.
Mm-hmm.
There's like so only a certain amount of like Gs, and these things. He's like these things are going like 3,000.
They're
consistently, and it's like so. Whatever that means,
mm-hmm.
and like a lot
taking
of
turns,
like
in and out of the water, and that's the thing.
So they're either like unmanned drones doing this, or if they are, they're like they have some sort of gravitational field.
They have something on the inside
where like gravity's different, and that means like space is different, time's different.
To move at these speeds, and it's that maneuvering from air to water without disrupting the surface tension of the water is
like taking like right angles immediately.
That's something we can't do. So that's like
the acceleration rate, all this shit. Like it looks like they disappear, but they're really just accelerating that fast. Like it's just around. Like.
And so it's showing
we all know that
all these, we have this like jellyfish looking UAP, we have the Tic Tac, we have Orb, we have Saucer. They can all do this kind of stuff. They're all moving in and out of transmedium.
Yep.
And it kind of reminds me of our Oakville Bob episode when we talked about star jelly and those like spider web like things coming down. And you had mentioned that maybe these things coming like the star jelly and stuff like that. Yeah. Like it almost is like burning rubber. It's like the act of like leaving a trail without.
It's like an exhaust.
It's like it's like they're transitioning matter and friction in front of them into like a waste product.
Yeah,
that's what it seems like to me. And like that would be the same when they hit the water.
Well, yeah, when you're like hitting like consistent like thousands of G's at one time. You know, you break the sound barrier. There might be like another like thing that happens when you start moving that fast.
I think it's
that accelerating at that rate.
It's like literally converting friction into like matter.
Yeah,
then
like
puts it behind.
Yeah, the particles in the air are mixing so fast that it becomes like a different form of like water.
Yeah,
basically.
Like that's the only thing that I can think of as far as being able to go in and out of the. That's what trips me out the most. Like the crazy speeds, the high G's, the maneuvering at like 90-degree angles while going 1,000 miles an hour. That's all nuts. But to go into the water without splashing. That's just stuff that's like defying my mind. That's
where it gets into like, okay, so this is like beyond what we understand as physics. Mm-hmm. Like there's like some way for them to be
like they're
create
phasing. They're like phasing. They go into
it's like they're going outside of gravity.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, they're like taking half a step out of our reality.
Yeah. That's like it's like maybe that's why they're like so hard to see because they're like not quite all the way here.
Which then goes into eighth power stuff where it's like you have to create half the thing by like your mind, your psyche is helping create it by watching it. So
dude, I just like start connecting dots here because like, so this is happening and
Megan,
then
how you feeling?
Yo, Megan,
take a deep breath.
With us?
This is all real.
Yeah, because then it gets me into the shit because there's always this like the kind of like new age like spirituality stuff where it's like we're entering like different like dimensional states as like human consciousness, and it's like maybe that's part of this too. Is like that's why we're being able to like see them better.
It seems to be proving like all types of psychic phenomena. Like we're talking about moving in and out. Like we are describing.
Like we're all like, and then like the more you see it, the more you see it. Then because you're like we've talked about this before too, where it's like
you work out those.
You like you see you see these things and it like opens your aperture up more every time to like witness more and more and more. Mm-hmm. So you're actually like you're taking in more consciously.
Which has to be just like a psychic gland.
Like and as like a human race, you know, we're all connected in this way, and the consciousness is like one human consciousness. That means like it's gradually getting wider and wider.
Yep. Yeah.
As like a planet, and that's like why this thing's happening. It's why like things are like starting to like come to light. Like there's I don't know. You can like tie in like every pop culture thing happening right now to like this shit.
Yeah.
Like. You can get into like the Diddy stuff. Like it's all like truth is being revealed because like it just can't be hidden anymore.
Yeah, that's
like people are like just see stuff and they're like I'm calling bullshit on this.
You just can't hide things anymore.
Yeah.
Fucking
you can't just lie like you used to.
Every episode now we're like, well, we always say people say there's no video evidence and like there is. Like here, I'll put something else up here.
Yeah, let's see another one. Because like
okay, so this is pretty deep. This I didn't find too many places. This is from 2011 that got leaked. It shows a series of UAP. You can see here. Over, I believe it's in Iraq again. And in a minute here, it actually shows them getting hit by a missile and then reconstituting and not giving a fuck. Okay, that happens in about 20 seconds. It looks here like there's actually stuff falling off of it. Like it almost looks like that jellyfish thing where there's kind of like a trail at the bottom.
Yeah. It's like maybe that's a like goop.
Like, is that star jelly coming off of it? Is that just like mana essentially?
That's what I'm like. That's what it seems like. Is it just like it's dropping something?
Like it's dropping Oakville Bobs right now, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Like look at that. Like they're coming down. So, okay, and then it's just saying you're going to see a missile strike on this thing. Not affecting
Which
it.
is
So
crazy,
check this
dude.
out,
Yeah,
right there.
yeah.
Okay, they get hit and then it just like reconstitutes.
Yeah. It was it looked like it went through water, like it splashed.
Yes. It looks like it went through water. It looks like an
Because it went through both of them.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know. Looked like water balloons exploded.
Yeah. So that's weird as fuck, huh?
Yeah. So that's the thing is whatever anyone's theories are on this, even like mine, like all these like ideas and like it's beyond like are there people are these aliens? It's like no, like it's past that. It's weirder than aliens.
Yeah.
It's weirder than
This is something transdimensional.
It's weirder than any like religious context. It's weirder than any fucking spiritual it's like beyond what we even like could.
It's just the next.
Imagine.
It's not like the next step, but it's a few steps down from like where we can, or a few steps up from like where we're headed.
It's like a breadcrumbs of like what the fuck is going on.
Like if we did somehow get this technology, it wouldn't like work for us. Like I think you need to for that.
Well, it might not even be like technology. It might just be like a being.
I think that was organic. Yeah, I think the whole thing was an organic.
Some sort of like form of like energy being that just is like existing.
A plasmic being.
Some plasmic soul.
That's what it is like looking like. And that's like
it's like the best way I'm gonna describe it, just because it's like
I mean, you look at lightning, which is just straight up plasma. That's how like that movement, that erratic, super fast movement, like that. If you could harness that and fucking bolt around like
which
that,
I feel like they like mentioned ball lightning too.
Yeah,
they like mentioned it in the hearing, and I'm like, okay,
the classic cool.
Like maybe these aren't all like separate things either.
Oh, they're all the same. I mean? They're all the same. We're seeing different forms of them in different shapes and stuff, but it is all.
I mean, in the ancients definitely thought like the like lightning and stuff was like the gods, obviously. Like that's why like it's Mother Earth, and then it's like the Father God in the sky is because like it rains, and that's like the seed, impregnating Mother Earth, and letting and then that's like how life is created, and it's like that's. I mean, maybe that's like what all this is about.
It's just the Promethean fire thing, like being given, like just that trickle of information, that trickle of technology.
Yep.
Yeah, and like we're just at this point now where fucking you can't hide anything, and like it's getting to the point where it's
all getting uncovered, and that's like what like. I mean, I get into my like astrology, Chinese zodiac, all that shit, and it's like this is the year of the dragon here, and it's like it's a big year of like truth.
Yeah. So
fucking
some of these...
Cat Williams came out in the beginning and was like, everything's coming to light this year.
Yeah,
he was on something. He was like, fuck yeah, dude.
Fucking
wasn't wrong.
So some of the main claims and statements from that congressional hearing involved, government secrecy and trying to get out of this government cabal of hiding evidence, right?
Yes.
Of non-human intelligence. And then it gets into biological samplings and stuff, and these non-human biologics, as you're saying, and finding evidence of that, which to me sounds like the Oakville bomb. It sounds like they're collecting. Remember they had it was human white blood cells without a nuclei. It's like these like pieces of
what
mana
even is that?
That's just being fallen from the sky, getting dropped down. That's the last episode. That's 2 episodes ago. I can't get into that too much, but they and then they're talking about the frequency of encounters. So basically, it's not rare, it's not isolated. Every single person seems to be seeing them all the time at this point. Anybody in the sky is seeing them. That's why they're trying to create these channels for even like regular flight paths. There's just pilots at like airports to like be able to sign it because they're seeing like they're like you're in the airport and they're like you're in the airplane and they're like up there. They see shit on the radar and it's like, well, if I tell anybody about this, I get erased.
I'm psycho now.
Yeah,
even though it's all like recorded, but it's like people are scared of it. It's like you don't want to like report things. You don't want to like step out.
Well, you sound nuts. So David Fravor, the Navy pilot, he described objects he encountered that were well beyond the material science and the capabilities that we had at the time. So
basically, you see it and you're like, well, this doesn't make any fucking sense.
Yeah. And then they get into like the transparency issues, which is just that they're not telling us anything. The Pentagon does not regard UAP investigations highly, or they keep it all secret.
The Commander Fravor shit, like David Fravor, that was in like 2002.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 2004.
That was over
2004.
Yeah, it was like 20 years ago.
That's when it came out, and that's when he spotted it. So
yeah. So it's like whatever. Either way, it's like 20 years ago, 20 plus years ago.
And they're like,
and he like couldn't talk about it forever.
How many people came out and got erased before we ever knew?
Mm-hmm.
Like that's why they're trying to create these like legislation for this kind of stuff, create more transparency, just so they
like
can
for whistleblowers and like create them, like let them be anonymous, let them like, yeah, dude, and like keep like the reporting on it because there's like reporters that will come out and say stuff and they'll get gone.
Yeah, so
like it's fucked up.
757 new UAP reports were received between May 2023 and June 2024. Yeah, about a year. Fucking almost 1,000 UAP reports, and that's just people that reported them that finally felt comfortable reporting them. You know,
and this is like this is stuff like that people are witnessing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like there's that one that like if you didn't have the military technology to see that like jellyfish thing. I mean, what are you? It's that shit. Like, just break the fuck out.
Like,
there,
is
dude.
it just right here? Like, is there one just sitting here?
like,
they can
like
move?
when you get like a weird chill, when you get like a weird like feel of something.
Well, that's the fucking ghost angle. That's why. It's like, what are we
that's why I'm like, this
here?
is all the same
if
shit.
If it can move through stuff, if it's invisible to us, if it like, what is that? It's just a ghost then.
That looked like a ghost. I don't know.
Maybe when we die, we just become aliens. I guess.
I think that's like that is like what I believe as well. Because I mean, I've been thinking about like the afterlife shit like that. And it's like because you like I get into like the near death experiences and shit, NDEs, and like the things people talk about. They're like, yeah, this is like this what we're experiencing here. This is nothing. Like, there's like so much more after this.
So you've heard of AARO, AARO. That's the all domain anomaly research. All domain anomaly resolution office. Yeah. Okay, so that's something that the government has created to. I mean, they made the X-Files.
Yeah. So they're just like coming out about it,
or they're at least they're calling public about it. All right, that's under the office of the Secretary of Defense. So it's like a defense it's like a defense initiative. Yeah. Right. It reports directly to Deputy Secretary of Defense Kathleen Hicks. All right. Mm-hmm. These are very high-ranking officials, right? AARO focuses on surveillance, collection, and recording, system capabilities, intelligent operations and analysis, mitigation and defense, and the science and technology of it. Basically, they're just trying to figure this whole thing out. And I know there's like 10 agencies underneath that are doing their own thing in secret, but the fact that that's just like out there, like AARO sounds like a fake thing, like all domain anomaly, like
anomalous. Anomalies. That's like what it all is too.
That's what we cover here. And again, sorry this episode is like all over the place. We didn't record for like 3 weeks and all this stuff came out. So I'm just trying to like get my head straight on it. We'll have more.
Well, because we're all gonna take different things away from it. Yeah. So Megan, I'd love to know what you're thinking about.
Yeah, send in your thoughts on this stuff. Let me know.
Because like what?
Let us know if you need more convincing. Okay, because we have more stuff to go over. It's just all in a flutter of stuff.
It's so much. So much.
Yeah. I just think, I don't know. I don't have like a list. I have a whole bunch of fucking shit to go over, but it's like, what are we thinking here? Where do we go from here? I guess like, does this
as like humans, or just like what like?
Does this belong on the podcast? Like, are we just doing like weekly reports on this now, or since it's so real, does it even?
I mean, I feel like we gotta like mention it, like update on it, because I mean, obviously it's like a slow trickle, but like, I think like today there was like another like hearing happening.
Yeah, because it was only
they're hitting it right. They're like hitting the ground running, and I'm like, okay. It's like whatever you think about like Donald Trump getting elected, like that. It does just seem like he, at least, is like talked about it more than like any other like candidate has.
Yeah, anybody that wants to release anything.
Because like a lot of people like asking like, oh, I don't know, like whatever, and then like people are like, are you gonna like declassify this stuff? He's like, yeah. It's like, which like whatever. I mean, that
I don't
obviously
know if Trump's ever gonna get told anything, but
exactly. I don't know, but like, we'll see, dude.
No, yeah,
we'll see, dude. I mean, that's all I have. I'm trying to be an optimist here, and like, if we get some like disclosure on some shit, that sounds cool. And hopefully, I just like hope it's not just all just lies, because that's my other part. Is like, okay, is this like? Because obviously, you ask anyone, you're like, do you trust the U.S. government and the military budgets? Do you like want them like spending your like tax money on the military? It's like, no, not at all. I don't trust them. I don't trust what they're doing. And this is like where I get into the psyop, where I'm like, well, they could be like, this could all be something, and not that it's not really happening, but they could be using it just to like get like the people behind this like thing to like justify, so people vote and like are like, yeah, spend my money. I want to know more about this.
And they just throw.
And then they just do keep doing the same fucking shit they've been doing.
Yeah, that's
like part of my thing, because like that was a lot of the hearing too. Is like people like, we need more funding for this. We need more funding for that. And I'm like,
it's like, well, okay, so hopefully that would go hand in hand.
You've already got so much of my money.
Yeah, like
you get
hopefully
so
that
much
would
of
go
my fucking
hand in hand
money
with the legislature to
at least let me know what you're doing.
Yeah, to let us know. Like that's what it has to be.
Give me like
system.
give me like a weekly newsletter updating me, like a monthly, quarterly, of like all the new shit, all the things that have happened. Because there's so much that's been classified for like 100 years, and it's like, can we just like let this come out so like we can just start reading it and just like and then we have like AI, so it's like, can we just like get like some AI like summaries of all this, so I like get and sift through all the details and like understand understand what the jargon, the like legal jargon and like government jargon even means. Like, let's just go. Let's just get it out here.
That's where
fuck, man.
I'm like, we'll just try to slow trickle this as it comes. It's like it's nothing new except for everything is new, and like except for that, like they're rehashing this stuff.
I mean, this is stuff we've been talking about.
Level it's funny that it lined up right with our alien episode.
Yeah.
I'm wondering, okay, if we
it's one of those synchronicities again where I was like, well,
if we had to look back at all the alien races we listed. In our 2-part alien episode, who's driving this fucker?
I imagine it's a mix of a lot. It's gotta be. It's a variety.
It seems like
there's so many different ones, and I think some of them are just some of those races too.
Yeah,
just like floating around. Different things, man. I don't know, man.
And then again, it does seem like they are just organic. Like it
gets my gears turning. Yeah,
it goes to our like upper atmospheric biosphere and everything. Like these creatures that are living 40,000 feet in the air. These so many jellyfish-looking things, dude.
Yeah, man.
We're gonna take a quick break. When you come back on the video side, you'll see that we are now in a spaceship.
Yeah, let's hit the spaceship.
So
Megan, let's take off. Speaking of all this, like UAP stuff.
Yeah,
let's
we're
fucking hit the fucking mothership.
I'll take a quick break. We're gonna come back with more on all of this, and maybe I'll have a little cryptid for you too, so you get a little bit of the paranormal on you too. But it's been Pumpkin Hill Radio. I'm Travis Wyrmwood.
UFO update.
Taylor. Come on back real soon. All right, and we're back with Pumpkin Hill Radio. I'm Travis. This is Dawson. We got our ghost host, Megan, right here. In the middle of us.
She came with us to the ship.
Yeah, we're now on a spaceship because we're talking about this.
Is this a spaceship, or are we like in some deep underground military bases?
Or are we underwater?
So, undisclosed.
Yeah. Now, next episode we're gonna get into some paranormal freaks and some cryptid monsters, but we're gonna just continue to talk about the alien presence at large.
I mean, this is just a nice hot topic right now, and I'm sure there's gonna be more that comes out, but like it's not gonna be anything new at that point. This is just like.
So I want to talk more about like
let's go
some underwater stuff, and then about more about Immaculate Constellation and what that actually means. Okay, because they were dropping that word. Yeah. And in Congress they were saying if you say that word you're gonna get on a list. So I'm gonna say that word a whole bunch in a second.
Put me on the list.
Yeah, please put me on that list. We're already on that list.
I mean, come on now.
So
come on.
So if we're talking about underwater aliens, talking about underwater things like that, you kind of brings me to like the Bermuda Triangle. We were just talking off air.
Yeah.
These things where, Mexico in general is a hotbed for UFO activity.
Yeah.
Mexico City was a lake that they built a pyramid in the middle of because they saw so much UAP activity going in and out of the lake back in the 1400s. Okay, they built out the entire city. It is now this like sacred site for all this stuff. Now the Bermuda Triangle, it's not in Mexico, but it's just right over there. Like it's very close.
Yeah.
So I think that as far as like UAP and activity like that, it is just a fucking hot spot. I think.
Well, even just like going down to like South America, Chile,
that whole
Argentina, like it's.
You can see it in in their stories. It's all
there.
It's all,
They talk about the star people. They like the whole civilization's just disappearing.
Yeah. It's like, what the hell is that about? So just this underwater stuff, fucking the triangle. There's all these places on Earth, specifically over the water, that are like dark zones where where stuff kind of just sort of happens inexplicably. I would say that like 100% this is the culprit, right? Like it sounds like you see these things at such frequency if you have any regularity doing like any water or air travel, that it's just like a part of everyday life. I have to imagine back in the old days, sea monsters and stuff. I'm sure there's also big ass monsters. We've talked about abyssal gigantism, which is creatures at that.
Which that's I'm sure you've seen the
huge, but...
the anomaly on like the there's like a big like spot on like the weather maps or whatever, going from like Antarctica up through like. Have you seen that?
No.
Ah, shit, man.
What?
Here.
Pull it up.
Let me just try to find this.
You find that. I'm just going to keep talking. I
Yeah,
want
yeah,
to,
yeah.
So I think we're going to do a future episode where we just list all these different, like, water sites, like these different, like, triangles around the world, and like places in the ocean where we think that maybe the bases just straight up are located, because I'm fairly certain that there's just actual alien bases in the water. There's like nobody going down to check on this shit. Like, we pretty much only go to look at the Titanic and blow up. Like, we just don't do much underwater exploring as a society besides like James Cameron. So I think it's just down there. Again, like I bet that they can move through dimensions, like transdimensionally, to dip in and out of our reality to stop the friction from happening, stuff like that. If that's the technology they're using to get through it. Blob.
So this is like right before
See
like
that
the
on
hurricanes and all that.
Dawson's showing this.
I'm sure you've seen
giant blob off the
it's
coast.
like, yeah, it is like supposedly like the size, like bigger than like Texas. It's just like this giant fucking like weather anomaly just rolling through the ocean, from like Antarctica up through like Africa, and then like it basically like took like a similar path that like all those huge hurricanes took. So there's a lot of like theories on that, but it was like one of these things where it's like, what is that? And like a lot of like the official story is a glitch, but I'm like, okay, maybe that's just a giant fucking.
Glitch is the worst excuse you could.
Yeah, maybe that's like just a giant mothership thing, either under the ocean, in the sky, above it. Like, who knows? But anyway,
Talk about underwater stuff for a second. It's like all these ancient cities. Like, you talk about this, it's literally called the sunken city of Atlantis. Like, we don't even talk about Atlantis compared to like Lemuria and other places that much, because it's almost like too buzzwordy. But if we talk about this stuff, it's
almost like it's the same as like the Bermuda Triangle, where it was like growing up you just heard about it a bunch, and it's like, well, that's just like a fake thing now.
Yeah.
It's like no.
It's in pop culture so much because it's real.
It's a very real thing.
Like human memory and consciousness.
It's something you like hear about it, and everyone's like, oh yeah.
Even like the way that Atlantis is written about, being these like concentric circles going out larger.
What
like,
was it?
UFOs
Pluto's
like
account
that.
of it.
Yeah.
Was that Plato, not Pluto. Plato, yeah. Plato's fucking account of that shit, where it's like, huh?
Like
because he's just making that up. I don't know. I don't think so.
Talk about the histories and stuff.
I don't know.
Yeah, you talk about like pre-Ice Age civilizations. They were in contact with these entities, whatever this is, if they themselves are the ships or if they're aliens driving it or something.
Yeah.
I believe that they were probably in contact with them, possibly like world events, the Ice Age, things like that happened.
It just goes
out of a human memory.
It goes back into the thing that there's like an ancient, forgotten, advanced civilization, whether it was us and we just forgot about it, or like there's something else here before us.
Yeah, like at this point, it doesn't even really matter. Like the nomenclature doesn't really matter, because it's just like, are they 15,000 years old or 2,000 or 20,000 years old or 200,000 years old? Like it doesn't even matter at that point. They're just so old that if they were an offshoot of humanity, they are so different now that
it would seem alien.
Or they just straight up
or
are
magic.
Aliens.
Yeah. Or maybe
like Leslie Shaw, the author that came on maybe 15 episodes ago, talk about their book. They're talking about inner Earth civilizations. It seems all too real at this point that it seems entirely possible. I'll say.
Yeah. I'm open to any of it because obviously.
And like I said, I want to do like a full episode on like just ocean stuff, like specifically like locations in the ocean that could be like the pinpoint for it.
Retouch on the abyssal zones.
Yeah, we can dig into zones. All that. Because that's where it is. There's these places that we just don't.
Shit, fuck! I forgot about it. I got it for like the little display up here. I got a little Hades little statue in Greece.
Oh, perfect. See, we haven't even talked about your trip. You know?
Yeah.
We should.
I mean, we're getting into like ancient stuff too.
Yeah.
I was at some very ancient sites. Some of the most ancient sites.
Yeah, you were just
shit,
chilling in
the shit
Athens.
is like I don't know, man. Like I was reading because I was like curious. I'm like, what are they saying happened here? And then I started reading about it, and it's like, okay, why is this all underground? How did all this get buried? Like, who buried this?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Mud flood.
Yeah, I'm like, there has to have been like a cataclysm, fucking like 3,000 years ago, 2,000 years ago, or some shit that like buried everything. Like, I don't know. That just would make more sense than like whatever. I don't know. Because there's no like at least I didn't see it. Maybe I got to do more research, but like it didn't seem like there's like an explanation why there's a city built on top of a city. What the fuck?
Yeah, that's
What the
odd,
fuck?
isn't it? Like
That's like how like Egypt is too. It's like, what the fuck?
like how much did the Earth come? It's not like dirt fell from the sky. It's not
No,
like
exactly.
the tectonic plates pushed like.
And it's not like
fucking
it's not like it was like abandoned like the Amazon where it's all overgrowth and then it like creates dirt from the overgrowth. Like people have always been there. Like people didn't like Egypt wasn't like just completely like abandoned. It wasn't a ghost town ever.
Yeah, it's just been alive.
Yeah,
So,
it's
they're
just been there.
not-
Like
there's
same
no
with Greece,
point
like
did
all
they
that shit. dude.
compact the entire thing with like 10 feet of dirt.
Yeah,
you know
it didn't.
what I mean?
It wasn't just abandoned for like thousands of years so it could overgrow like the Amazon rainforest. Like I don't know.
It's weird.
Like like
I mean,
when
I
you're
asked-
walking through the like Greece and there's like you're like walking and you're like, oh, I'm on like ground level, I'm on the street, and then you like go and there's like this big hole that goes down and there's these like ancient ruins down there and it's like what is that? Why is everything on top of this?
It reminds me
Just scattered throughout the whole city. It's
It reminded
bizarre.
me of the Futurama episode where they go under like the old New York.
Yeah, yeah.
Because it's all built on top. That doesn't make any sense to me.
No.
At what point are you just fully like building on top of that, or
Like
or,
why would
or why were you building this underground in the first
like
place? if
something
that's the
had to
case?
have happened? Yeah.
Yeah, like it.
And I'm like, okay. And then I don't know. You look at these structures. You look at these like pillars and the way this shit's built. Like the Parthenon is built on like on a mountain. I think the mountain is the building, and then it's like I don't know. I can like show you a picture.
No, I know it's your.
I don't know.
it's
I'll show you later. But
ancient
like
hidden structures. Things
yeah, it
deeper
literally
than
you
seen.
look at. You could just look it up too. Just look up Parthenon like images, and you're like, okay, it looks like it's just.
So it's
it
like
was
this
it was this
thing, but it's
giant
on top of this.
Yeah, it looks like it looks like a giant like castle, and then it looked like half of it got buried, or it looked like it got buried and then just like uncovered halfway. I'm like, okay,
Fucking, you know what does that? It's fucking battles between gods. We talk about like ancient weapons. We talk about, and you know, in
Yeah,
some
man.
of these Indian writings with like these gods, these many-armed gods that have weapons that like are
Mhm.
just atomic bombs that are just
Yeah.
like that just create floods. Like it's
that's why
and
it
I-
makes sense if it was all covered in like a flood, basically. Obviously, it's gonna carry like
it's the mud and shit. Yeah.
yeah, and it's just gonna like bury this shit,
Mm.
and then some of it's gonna just be you're gonna like be able to uncover it eventually.
And
I don't know.
I'm all over the place with like mud flood theory in general. If you're listening in,
Yeah.
somehow we have never covered the mud flood as like a full episode. We definitely will.
We
We
mentioned the idea a lot.
We've
I would
mentioned-
like to get into
we were
it.
talking about it for years, like pre-podcasts, you know.
Oh, yeah.
So I think there's a lot of truth to that.
There's
at least in
something
some
about
parts.
it.
If
Well-
that word doesn't make sense to you, we'll get into it a little bit.
Well,
in certain
a good
episodes.
like entry level part of it. Like if you like don't know anything about it and it just sounds crazy, like just it's like the Graham Hancock stuff. There's like another guy too.
Anything
They're like
with
Ancient
Tartarian.
Apocalypse, that show. It's
Yeah.
like Ancient Aliens, but like it just opens the door to it because he like visits some sites and it's like oh like I don't know. He like visits
Yeah.
some
I haven't
places
watched that
in
yet.
the
I
Sphinx.
really gotta watch that.
It's interesting. I mean, it's you'll watch it and be like, yeah, this is like obviously, but like
It's good for the common folk.
but
though,
there's
for sure.
places he doesn't visit that are like just everywhere. Like literally every major city, every town seems to have like some sort of like weird thing. Like there's like YouTube rabbit holes where people like find these like ruins in the middle of nowhere, and you're like, what?
Or you're like
What
you're
is
in the
this?
woods and you come
And it's,
across
like, in
a
the
mountain
US too,
that,
so it's, like-
looks like a pyramid.
Yeah.
Like some of these it looks like shit's been buried.
Yeah,
Looks
and
shit's
it's like
built on top of each other.
it's
It
like
looks
oh, it was like because it's like okay, Native Americans weren't building with like these brick structures like this. At least
where
I don't
is this
think.
coming from. Like I mean,
Yeah.
you get like some like pyramid stuff when you go a little further south.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I mean,
indigenous people in North America
dude,
didn't
I've-
have a ton of structures like
I've been
that.
through like you go through like New Mexico and stuff too, and I mean, you just like see things.
There's like the cliff dwellings that they do. They did build some of that stuff, but it was it's
there's
a
like
lot of it doesn't
even just the hills. Like there's so many rolling hills, and it's like
well, when all those are fucking, we talk about they have like, and I did
like they aren't none. It's too vast. There's too much, and it's like a lot of it's like privately owned. It's like this wasn't like ever surveyed archaeologically like dug up at all.
Ancient
like
burial mounds, they had a thing where they create these structures like specifically to be seen from space.
You like see like there's like hills. I remember going through like New Mexico. You see these hills, and it's like these all look like pyramids.
It's like I bet from the sky this looks like a fucking like snake god or something.
Yeah.
Shit.
Oh
like,
yeah, exactly.
You know,
like mimicking constelations.
We will. I want to dig into more of Native American stuff because it's almost close to Thanksgiving. I did a whole research on some more stuff with them. I want to get back into sacred clown stuff because we've been way off the radar with that, which is really
we got to retouch that.
So stay tuned for that. But it's more on this alien stuff and like talk about indigenous cultures and stuff in that effect. All of these island nations in the ocean, all over the place. There are reports where literally half the island now is in contact with these things regularly. Where there's markings on human bodies that are coming from these things that are there are it is such a normal part of like life on these small island societies.
It's such a different like culturally it's like approached so differently. Like the U.S. has such a stigma with all of it.
Yeah, and there are cultures that are just on
like
islands,
even just like Mexico, South America, like basically like the U.S. border down south is like it's such a different like. There's no stigma on it. Like people like openly talk about it a lot more than like that's here. I mean, it's so weird and taboo here still.
That's why that's why they built fucking Mexico City was like. I mean, besides it being like a great trade hub and shit, it's like there's UFOs
that's another thing too is
flying in and out of the water here. We need to like be here for this. This is gonna be important.
Which is another thing. If we're going to like mud flood shit, it's like who knows what that shit is all about. Like that's just weird shit as well. Because it's strange. It's just strange. I don't know.
Mudflood also does stuff where it kind of like says everything before like 1908 is fake or stuff like that. So
yeah. It's like the late 80s, the World's Fairs, all that.
When we cover that, we will do it mindfully and like not be a bunch of dumbasses. But there is something to all of it.
Well, just like approaching it with like the World's Fair stuff with all that is like. Yeah, we'll get into it eventually. But anyway.
I wanted to go back to that Jellyfish UAP that we played the video much earlier on. I'll play it again just so it's on screen.
Just get it. Is there a way to just get it looping? Because I just kind of want to stare at it while you talk about it.
Let's see. I might not have it. Okay, we might have to go back to Egypt.
Oh, yeah, that's fine.
Okay. So. Yeah, we're just going to let it play in the background. We're back in Egypt now. So, this thing has been lovingly called the spaghetti monster by people that work there. It's basically like a known like asset. Like everybody like okay, so it's seen as like a ghost story. So according to former Marine Michael Sinkowski, the sighting becomes something of a ghost story at the base. Suggested that the topic was discussion among it was like an intriguing topic to everybody there, right?
Yeah.
There was like no alarm. Like obviously there's not like alarms going off during this video, but even afterward, it seemed like they either knew or it was like a commonplace thing. Like it didn't seem to be posturing any like threats to them.
No,
what he said.
Yeah.
There was no threatening behavior toward them.
It's like a lot of ghost stories where it's like, oh, that's Gladys.
That's the spaghetti monster.
That's the spaghetti guy.
The state Marines there were asked to quote unquote keep an eye on it, right? Which means that it implies that there's a back and forth.
This shit happens.
That it's going to happen regularly, and that they should respond like in a measured way and not like with panic because it's like so regularly happening, right? It's definitely non-human, I'd say. I don't think that you could even fit anybody in there.
No, I don't know. It looks like, cause you can see like people walking on the ground below it.
That's what it is.
And it's like not much bigger than a person.
And they're definitely not like seeing it.
No, yeah. Yeah, exactly. Well, you can like see too on this video, like there's times where like it's like a hard dark shadow and then it goes like almost, like it's getting dark there and then it goes almost translucent even in the video. So it's like
I think that's it's changing to like the heat patterns and the wind and stuff that way.
Yeah.
Because again, it's this is only on infrared that you're seeing it, but it's like literally jellyfish. Like it looks like that, and then like you look at stuff like an octopus that can like change color and stuff. Like it almost has like It looks like a sea creature.
cephalopod
floating
aspects
floating
to it.
perfectly through the fucking. I mean, God, like it is like just a weird. See if I can get that back up here. Let's watch this one. This is that missile one again. I guess that's like, where are we at here? Do we want, again, listeners of the podcast,
Meg,
thank you for being
Yo,
here.
Megs.
Sorry, this episode. Not sorry. This episode's crazy. There's tons of nuts information,
big
but
shit
it's
going
definitely
on.
not the normal like horror this week into like paranormal monsters stuff. This has been just like
It's too much to talk about,
and we've had too much to talk about. We plan on recording a few more times just this week so we can really build out some content, throw some special stuff out the Patreon, and just
we'll hit the ground running.
And just
on
have more casual episodes, I guess.
Yeah,
this was just too hot to handle.
There's a lot.
Yeah, I want to dig in.
We can get more. We can have a whole nother episode on just this.
We will.
We can have a whole nother one on like some other thing too.
We will.
Like,
we talked about. Okay, I didn't even get into Black Fleet. Black Fleet. I came on. Actually, it's called Dark Fleet. I'm pretty sure.
Dark Fleet. Yeah.
Dark Fleet is just another like black organization that is just so off the radar.
Shadow.
I had a whole thing on that, but let me talk. Okay, I do have a little more on Immaculate Constellation, just so we know the program name. The nature of the program. It's reportedly a secret Pentagon. Reportedly, it's literally there. It's a secret Pentagon program focused on UFOs and UAPs, described as an unacknowledged special access program, which has highly classified levels of security. Secrecy. Excuse me. So that's why it's just starting to come out, and that's why these names are being dropped, and they're like, you're going to be on a list now. The purposes, as far as we understand, are to collect and quarantine information on UAP and UFO sightings. Okay, again, they're collecting it and quarantining it, which means they are putting it in a secret site and not telling anybody about it, and it's not going to Congress. It's not going to the president. It's
the classic Indiana Jones where they like put it in a crate in a warehouse.
Except
with
for
everything
studying
else.
They're gathering the technology from it, and they're not telling anybody about it, and they're using it against their own people.
It's like that goes in line with like the Bob Lazar shit.
Yes.
Like
they're also involved in investigating, recovering, and attempting to reverse engineer these technologies. That's the other big part of it. Again, is they're trying to. Again, I'm like, I wish we had this stuff.
Yeah,
like, it sounds like maybe if I'm inside the machine, I'm gonna get ripped to shreds.
Well,
but if we can get it right, like
it's one of those things too. Is like we'd probably be able to back engineer it if it was all just open sourced.
Well, we're already
let everyone kind of tinker with it, look at it, figure it out, like, and then you'll find people that probably would never even be interested in this. If it was all open source, there'd be people that'd be like activated on it. You know what I mean?
Get to it and figure it out.
Like, it's like it just at an early age get like kids into this. Like,
we've talked about like the MRI machines, being given to us basically, the technology that the aliens had. It could scan biometrics, and like thoughts. Basically, it was like a much more advanced scanning device, and we basically got the bare bones of it. Like, I think if we got the technology, we wouldn't be flying at 1,000,000 miles an hour and taking these hard turns, but it would greatly improve what we have. You know, I just don't think, like, if these are plasma beings,
it'd be revolutionary.
Basically, we're talking about beings of like light, and we're talking about plasma, things like that. These things that just don't abide by our physics. I think that the technology might not gel exactly right, but we'd be able to backwards fucking create it, engineer it, reverse engineer it, and we'd have something.
It would at least like open the doorway to just like new possibilities. Yeah, well, it'd be like the Industrial Revolution with like technology.
What we are seeing
it's like kind of where we're at.
It's just like 15 years ago when you're seeing people talk about, like, you know, it's like how cell phones used to be big and in your car and shit. We're looking like the next technology that we are going to get as a civilization. It's might not be this, but it is this. Yes, it's something along these lines that we're seeing with these crafts. Like we kind of
it's opening our minds of like the possibilities of like how physics can like be manipulated and work.
Because before this, it's like
it was all so rigid.
It's all
before
speculative. It's all like, oh, that's not real. Or it's like,
dude,
okay,
15 years ago, and you're like, you started 15 years ago, and you started talking about how like these things are moving in the sky and like defying physics. People would be like, that doesn't make any sense. And that's what a lot of people did. But now you like talk about it. It's literally common knowledge. It's just on the news. They're having like hearings about it. You like, it's not crazy anymore.
No.
So that means like people studying this stuff and like trying to invent new things and create new technologies, like have this in their mind now of like, oh, we can
this is where we can get.
Okay, there's ways to do this. Let's break it down how. Just by watching the video.
And that just means, and if there are people that are doing that and watching it, there are also people at these secret sites.
There's more Bob Lazars
with
out
the material. They have At
Oh,
least
yeah, dude.
there are confirmed pieces of material held at different bases that we're
Was
working
it
with to some degree.
like element something?
Well, there's a couple different ones. There's the one that kind of looks like aluminum foil, but
Yeah.
it comes down in these like it's all over.
Like
the place.
element
We can
like
do
181 or
Yeah,
something.
we can do like a
Whatever.
alien
Whatever
like,
Bob Lazar talks
fragment.
about, where like it.
Yeah. We'll do a whole episode on like fragments
it's like the
that are
fuel.
dropped down,
It's like
but-
this energy
Yes,
fuel. Yeah,
yes.
it's
So yeah, and all in all, Immaculate Constellation is described as a UAP reconnaissance program dealing with the incursion of air, land, and sea domains. So it's the scope. It contains a massive database of photos, videos, documents regarding UAP, UFO. Very little of it's being released. We have this jellyfish. We have this missile one that we just showed you. These are 3-minute cuts of nonstop recordings. These are places that don't get that are always recorded, and it's like these are just people are risking their lives and their jobs and their families' lives and their families' like existence beyond like their recorded history. Like when you get deleted like that, they take away your social security number, they take away your socials. They get
you like never existed.
You can't Google these people anymore very easily.
Yeah.
So.
They like delete you from any like file of like where you went to college, any credentials you've ever had, anywhere you've ever worked, you're deleted.
Which at one point it's like
that happened to like that's like the shady thing with Bob Lazar too, is like he like says he went to these schools and there's no record of them. But he has like pictures of it. He has like documentation. He's like, I was here.
The thing for him is he basically got out in front of it enough to become he became basically famous on it before they could delete him.
Yeah.
Is like what happened there, basically.
Yep.
Because if he was saying this shit and didn't like also write a book about it and all this other stuff, he would be gone.
Yeah, exactly.
He'd be gone. Or it's
a slow
shit.
It's a slow like trickle of things where he even says he's like, I feel like I was being shown things like
so that he could come
only
out
a
with
certain amount of things that I'm like I was only allowed to see certain things.
Well, in all these bases, it's segmented, so it's like you work somebody in one room in these black sites doesn't know
compartmentalized.
what happened. So they're being given a fifth of this technology, one quarter of it, just like a minute piece of this.
Yep.
So like
and that was like something in the hearing too. They were talking about how you like go to these military bases and like there's so many different buildings where like we don't know what they're doing in there. That's secret shit. We have no idea.
You would never know. So
and that's just like military structures too are gonna be like that, where it's like you don't ever need to know that, soldier.
So
don't ask questions. Like
the Pentagon hasn't even officially confirmed or denied the existence of this program.
Yeah.
But they're talking about it in Congress.
Yeah, they're like it is a thing.
Like Congress is now. We talked about it at the beginning. Like they are now in contention with Pentagon because
it's forcing the Pentagon to come out of this because like we know this exists, and you not talking about it just like is dissolving any trust anyone had in
money.
There's no faith in you anymore. Like, and then it's like honestly, it's like it becomes almost like a criminal thing at that point. It's like you're almost a criminal organization.
Yeah, you're working completely off the books.
Fraudulent programs.
You are the Illuminati. At that point. Like,
you're
like
the deep state. You're just the deep state. That's what that is. Is like it's not like a person. It's just the deep state's literally just like the black budget programs going against in secret against the the American population and taxpayers.
You just can't do that. Or like in this day and age, you can't. 50 years ago, you could get away with it and say it's all for the good of the country, but nobody gives a fuck about America as an entity.
Well,
so
that's the thing
like,
too. The fucking sad excuse of like, oh, it's gonna create panic and stuff. It's like, we saw. I remember watching 9/11 happen.
Yeah, people are panicking every day already.
What are you talking about?
Yeah. What are you? Yeah, like
I can go online and just watch people die in wars right now.
Yeah, I see like a beheading a day by accident. Like this shit is.
What are you talking about?
We're not gonna panic anymore than.
And
any
then you're
other
like,
bullshit.
you like watch the news. They want you to panic.
Yeah,
they're forcing people to panic. Like, just get this out.
Well,
let me panic about some crazy shit, please.
When you panic, you can't you can't analyze things thoroughly.
Yeah, exactly.
So like they put us in a panic state so that we can't go and look at all this other stuff.
That's why like this isn't like headline news.
They put us in a panic state by saying they're trying to keep us out of a panic state, and it's like,
this
isn't the panic
like,
state?
This isn't headline news, but like you could probably find a headline today about like something about nuclear war.
Well, you can find a headline about fucking an old guy and a young guy boxing. Like we're putting these. We're dancing shit. It's like one dancing show to the next. We had It's literally like an election between
bread and circus, baby.
It's like a shill election into this like shill boxing match. Next week's gonna be something else. It's the 24-hour news cycle
It's
perfectly erases every bit of information. Like
goldfish brains.
They like the beginning of this year. If you look up 2023 UFO reports, a bunch of different news sites. Like this UFO thing was showed on like public access. It's like a week later it's blown up because it's like they're talking about because then it's like hurricanes or
natural disasters.
Like,
and then it's like as soon as it gets brought up to it, it's all like forgotten immediately.
Yeah,
like no one's talking about the hurricanes anymore.
Yeah, or like
those people still are homeless. Those people are fucked.
Yeah,
their shit's gone.
There's still like that, like this war in the Middle East that's like been going for 2,000 years. Like it's all like covers for stuff. It's all, I mean, it's all very real and horrible, but it's the word.
You never let a good distraction go unused.
Yeah,
is basically it. You never let a good tragedy go unused. It's like a classic. There's like a real quote. That's like my version of it, but you know what I mean. It's like you're gonna let a catastrophe. You're not gonna like let that go.
Yeah, don't let that go to waste.
Don't let that go to waste. It's a perfect opportunity. I'm not gonna say like these things all are like fake, don't happen, but there's a reason you hear about certain things more than others. There's a reason you hear about it really hard for 1 week and then it's never again. There's reasons for this. It's coordinated.
It's the panic that we apparently aren't in that keeps us from thinking about things for more than a day.
Yeah.
Back to Immaculate Constellation. One of the incidents involved, like incidents that they have come out about that there's been testimony about was orbs surrounding an F-22 fighter jet. Right. So this is like a smaller version of the Langley case, where, and it's a lot like the Malaysian airline flight. If you go to the Patreon. I posted a video, like this leaked video of, you can see like 3 orbs circling what is apparently the lost Malaysian airline flight.
Yeah.
So
there's a couple Malaysian airlines too. Because there's a UFO one, and then there was a Malaysia airline that crashed.
Yeah.
That had like cancer researchers on it. They were like going to like a cancer research like conference.
About
like turbo cancers and shit.
Like you know what it's
like it's not a coincidence.
It's like you know what this technology does in the wrong hands? You can give people cancer with it in a fucking snap.
Yeah,
like,
probably cured just in a snap too.
Yeah, like the dude that's fucking could not come to the congressional hearing
because he just recently conveniently got cancer.
And like my condolences, that fucking sucks. Like for his whole family.
Dude,
like
it's a tragedy, dude.
I hate that they did that, but like. That they're literally using everybody as pawns, and they're using that's just like a play on their chess move. Is like, okay, that guy can't be there now.
Like, well, let's just throw a wrench into this.
Yeah.
Can't give them all cancer. That's a little suspicious, but let's give like a major guy.
Let's scare them all. Let's tell
them.
Let's give.
That's the thing. It's like you go into that immediately to like I'm probably on a list now.
Yeah, it's like you're on the list.
You're not putting you guys. Hey, slow down and repeat it.
Your whole family's about to get cancer.
Put this together.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
That's a threat to all of you. Yeah. That was like a wink to every like if you're like a lot of people probably don't notice that, but like certain people like we're gonna see that and be like okay, that was like a wink to everyone. Be like hey, just so you know,
they're walking in to give these reports.
Just so you know,
and there's men in black, basically coming up to him and saying if you say this, you're over. Yeah. And it's televised on C-SPAN, so it's like they're saying it, and it's like maybe they won't necessarily get erased, but. We're going to keep a tab on every one of these fuckers, and I bet in 10 years, if any of these fuckers are not sick or disappeared, I will be very surprised.
Means, we're doing well then.
Yeah.
We're doing well.
Yeah.
But
and that's like, because then it gets put on like C-SPAN and stuff now. It's like maybe you can't just straight up delete somebody, but to make that threat to a congresswoman about to go talk under oath is fucking insane.
Yeah.
It's insane. To be like, if you say these words, Immaculate Constellation, Immaculate Constellation, Immaculate Constellation.
Like, that's like that's ballsy. To like say, like, come at me, bro.
Because it's like almost like a last line of defense. They're like, okay, they're going to actually say something. We gotta,
They're doing this, so we gotta throw something.
Yeah.
Intimidate in some way.
Another case from Immaculate Constellation that was leaked describes an orange-red sphere descending from a high altitude observed by an aircraft carrier personnel, people at the aircraft carrier. So that's a talk about glowing orange. That sounds like a Hasdale and light kind of thing.
Same thing.
We talk about glowing lights all the time. We have like 3 different episodes about specific colors and stuff. I mean that is one of them right there, basically.
That's it, yeah. God damn.
I think we need to stop now. Because I mean you gotta drive Mitch to work soon.
But
we got stuff to do today, so we can't be here all day. But
we'll hit this again soon.
We will. This has been all over the place.
Stay tuned for updates. This is stuff like I can't just like ignore. I'm fascinated by this. I gotta talk about this.
Megan,
I'm like, what the fuck?
I hope that you're
Thanks for
feeling
being
okay.
here, Megan.
Yeah, and thanks for becoming our first Patreon subscriber.
Yeah.
Everybody else
Shout
that's
out to you.
subscribed,
Huge.
you will be there in the next coming weeks. The next 3
It's honestly
episodes.
huge. The support's
It's
huge.
huge.
It puts wind in my sails.
Yeah. I got the Patreon. I set up this whole thing. So I was like, oh,
You raised me up
check it out. Yeah.
so I can stand on mountains.
The other people that subscribed at the $1 tier for the ghost host position, you will be next in line at the order you subscribed in. Everybody else that comes in after, just you'll be there. Every episode we'll kind of shout you out at the beginning or at the end, I think.
Yeah.
But like, if you want that ghost host position, hang out with us and Megan here.
Yeah. Let's get into it. You're part of this.
Yeah, patreon.com/pumpkinhillradio for all of that. Again, this is not really the usual episode if you're just tuning in for the first time, because this is on YouTube for the video for the first time. But this is
Keep
we go
watching,
this
guys.
every time. Yeah.
Keep watching. Keep your eyes open.
Stuff to look forward to coming up this month. I have some great like Thanksgiving time stuff I want to get into. Mostly on like the Native American side of things and not the not so great side of things when it was like, you know, there's a lot of blood in these land. There's a lot of blood in the soil. So
disease,
talk about
sickness.
all that. A little later in the month, at the end of November or 1st of December, we're gonna have Max Jaseski, one of our Patreon subscribers, going to come on to do an episode that he suggested on Saturn warships. So
I was like about to start kind of researching it, but I'm like, I kind of just want to have him teach me about it. 'Cause I like know a little bit. I'm sure. Yeah.
You can be a good sounding board then. I've done talking to him about specifics. I've been getting into a lot of it too. We'll be shouting a lot. Warning, that thing has the good, the bad, and the ugly. There's like
It's crazy.
you know,
stuff.
that's one of the ones where it gets into some
Dark.
some maybe not so tasteful things, but it's all over the place. That's just one tiny corner of it. We're gonna cover the whole thing. We're gonna be mindful, but we want to tell you everything that we learned. So
We'll get into it.
get ready for that. The whole rest of the year after that, we're gonna get into some of this very old Yule type monsters and stuff. I want to do a whole Krampus episode. We're gonna get into the Yule lads, the Yule cat, all that fun stuff, just to get you in the holiday mood. But we're not quite there yet, so we had a little more alien stuff to yell about.
It's all coming.
Again, this is all over the place, but that's the nature of this stuff. It's segmented at the highest level. So by the time we get to it, it's like, here's your crumb here, here's your crumb there. I guess we'll do what we can with it.
I'm gonna connect these crumbs. I don't know.
We're gonna
in
eat
some
the
way.
crumbs.
I'm gonna eat those crumbs. I'm gonna connect dots. Like
there's definitely a cat
psycho.
scratching at this door back here.
Yeah.
That alien's trying to get in.
So we gotta go.
And I guess lastly, I do want to cover. We're gonna get into some sacred clowns and all that.
Yeah,
That'll be with
we gotta
the
get
Native
back into
American
that.
research again. That's the other side of this. We got way too much into the plasmic entities. We'll get back into that. For the long-time listeners, you already know.
And like always, they're all the fucking same.
Yeah.
It's all connected.
Yeah. There is an alien trying to break down our door, though, so we got to go. Real quick, though, for the last time, Megan, thank you.
Love you.
Thank you for being our first
Thanks
subscriber.
for being here.
That's huge. Megan, tell your friends to listen. Tell your friends to subscribe.
Yeah, please.
Everybody else out there, patreon.com/pumpkinhillradio. Rate us 5 stars wherever you can.
Yeah.
Share us wherever you can. Support us however you can. Pumpkin Hill Radio.
Yeah, baby.
And all socials, we're pretty much there. You can check the link tree in the description to find our socials. Go to the Etsy to buy pins, prints, more.
Email us any stories you got, anything.
Yes, if you want us to cover something.
If you have like an opinion, if we said something and you like disagree, if you agree, if you have more info on something,
let us know.
We'll fucking talk about it.
Let us know.
Obviously.
And then quick shout out to Dubby.G.
Yeah, Dubby got me on that one.
Yep.
Dubby's helping with the jet lag.
Yeah,
for sure.
Use code STARMOTHER. That's one word at checkout for 10% off. Dubby.GG. I think that's pretty much it. This has been all over the place. Aliens, I hope you come at me. I've been like
UFOs,
really
visit
channeling.
me.
Just like that one chick said, "Come at me, bro." Like that one.
Come at
the
me,
Congresswoman said, "Come at me, bro."
Come at me, bro.
I'm ready to discuss if the MIB wants to come down and check us out. But until then,
I'm ready.
This has been Pumpkin Hill Radio. I'm Travis Wyrmwood.
I'm Dawson. I love you. Nice, dude.
All
That's a
right.
good one.
Till next time.
Sweet.